I gotta try and be more succinct and leave out most of the unbelievable fucking details. So it was getting worse and worse. So I started warning a lot of our friends in the community who had art spaces. Most of them who knew I had a lot of integrity. They voted for me mayor. They had always seen me for years fight for the underdog, stand up to Goliath, get beaten, tortured, arrested, fight back, and win, win, win. They all hated Harry Stuckey. Chris Ansari of Rubulad, he had tried to bribe them for years to let his band play. They would never allow it because he sucks and his band sucks and he's a cheese bag. He's a fucking icky, slimy. He calls everybody babe. He comes off as a used car salesman caricature, but he's serious. Guy fucking, you gotta see the way he straightens his hair. I mean, everything about the guy's creepy. And everyone would tell me that, because remember, I used to work for him for years as a carpenter. And then he would take me to parties and stuff. And people would say, why do you hang out with that guy? He's creepy. And I'd be like, yeah, he's pretty creepy. But he's got some talent, and he's smarter than a lot of other people. But I'm going because, for a lot of reasons, I would go to parties with him. One, free food, free booze, blah, blah, blah. Plus, he owed me money, so I wanted to take as much money from him as I could, by any means necessary, to get my money back. This is before '99. This is while I was working for him as a carpenter, and he'd fuck up everything. He'd have you build something, and he'd go, "Oh, I made a mistake. Tear it apart." He's like, "What do you care? You're getting paid by the hour." It's like, no, I don't like to fucking waste my time building shit and then unbuilding it. You're a fucking retard. It's the guy who flubbed everything he did. But because my life's a catastrophe, I needed the work. Don't get me started, because don't you fucking dare jump to conclusions. You would never believe my life. I don't believe it, and I've witnessed it. So, I also, if you don't know anything about me, the number one thing you could say about me, probably the number one word to describe me, might be crusader more than artistic innovator. Crusader. Ever since I was a little boy, I fought up again. I stood up to bullshit, fought assholes. I fought the teachers and the fucking administrators in my schools. I fucking fought the bullies. I stood up to all these fucking retards. I always have. It was in my blood. I wish it wasn't. I've tried to pass for normal. I can't do it. It's like asking a gay guy to like pussy. It's not in my DNA. I'm not like you humans. I'm nothing like you humans. Except I like pizza too. And sometimes pussy is good. So, there's so many things I'd like to tell you. Horrible, horrible facts. But the arts community all knew that I was Mr. Integrity. And they all knew he was Mr. Icky. But he had given them all money. He had done a Bloomberg. He gave money to House Yes. He would give money to Jeff Stark, who really fucked me over, of NonsenseNYC.com. He gave tons of money to Chris Ansari of Rubulad. They wouldn't book his bands, but they wouldn't stand up to him. They wouldn't stick up for a fellow artist. They sold me out. Everyone in the community sold me out. They sold the art factory out. They sold out all art. They sold out all musicians for a few $100s. Wow. And so I went to the community. They all said the same thing. We don't fucking give a shit about injustice. We don't give a fuck about our friends. We give a fuck about our enemies. And Harry saw that, and he's like, oh, my God, these people are fucking dumber than my wildest. I could do anything, and he just fucking did it. Remember now, I have no access to internet and shit, and he's got tons. He's got 3 homes at this point. He's got 3 homes, and I have half of one I'm staying in, trying to fucking fix it up and save it, even though it's getting fucking really bad. He didn't build the shower. We can't rent the rooms. We're losing hundreds of dollars a day. He's flubbing it like he's flubbed everything. Tom finally says, okay, Harry's full of shit. He lied to us about everything, everybody. Now, it's a little late. I come home from working at Rubulad at 6 in the morning, and Harry has changed the locks on my home, my business, my art factory. He then has strangers pack up my entire life. And remember, my archives are larger than anybody's on Earth. I have more shit and more important shit than any human in history. All in hundreds of boxes. Strangers pack it up, smash it all up into boxes, take it away. All of my friends are still like, well, that's a little bad, Harry. It's Christopher's home. You have 3 homes. He has 0 now. He has 0 homes. You have 3. He paid for the space. You paid for nothing. But Harry's like, what are you sheep gonna fucking do? We know what you fucking sheep are going to do. You're going to get on your fucking knees, you're going to crawl, and you're going to fucking lick my feet. Sheep. And that's what they did. He said, you're not going to go to the police. You're sheep. You're going to lick my feet. Lick it, sheep. And they said, well, all right, I disapprove of this, but I will lick your feet. And that's what they did, day after day. And they licked his feet more every day. He fucked over Carrie. Carrie couldn't get her clothes. She lost a 200 pair of pants. She borrowed from somebody. All kinds of catastrophes happened. Hundreds of separate catastrophes from this one act. And every one of the sheep said, well, even Carrie, all of his victims said, you know what, Harry? If you think you're going to get away with this, well, we promise we'll help you. You stole our money. I mean, that's cool. We're going to help you. And they did. They helped him. Teresa Galliani helped him every step of the way. She hated him. Helped him every step of the way. Helped him fucking put me in jail. Helped him cheat the space. Helped him cheat the lawsuits. Helped him cheat everything. Kerry Farias helped him cheat everything. Cavassa helped him cheat almost everything. Jason Trachtenberg helped him cheat everything because Jason said, I don't give a fuck who owns the space because I want to use it. If Harry's got it now, I'm going to kiss up to Harry because I want to be on the winning team. No human has a principle but me. I'm the only person I've ever met in my life so far who has principles. You could say, no, there's lots of people with principles. Show me them. Show me Michael Moore. I'll prove to you in minutes he doesn't. Show me Julian Assange. I'll prove you in minutes he doesn't. Show me Morgan Spurlock. I'll prove to you in minutes he doesn't. Actually, that's a funny fact. I wrote songs with Delfino for a Morgan Spurlock produced movie. He gave us no credit in the press, in the credits, and Morgan Spurlock gave us no credit in the movie credits, and he paid us, how much was it per song? $250 per song? We did these lyrics, and he demanded that we could only get, if there was a record or anything out of it, that we would only get 33%. We wrote 99% of the lyrics. He said we should only get 33% of the profit. Him and his buddy Jeremy should get the rest. That's a dirtbag. I'm sorry, ladies and germs. And I thought Morgan was really cool. He's really funny. But that's dirtbag fucking Hollywood bullshit. Dirtbag, sleazebag. So you think all the people you think have integrity, Ralph Nader's a fucking scumbag. All the people you really believe have integrity, you're naive. There is no Santa. There is no God. There is no justice. You're naive. The only person you'll ever find who you can't corrupt is me, and even I'm getting fucking tired of being the only honest person on earth. It's really wearing thin. After being raped thousands of times a day for fucking 30 years, okay? Next thing I know, so now I'm locked out. So now I'm contacting everybody again, the community. It's like, I told you all his plan was to steal the place. You all said I was exaggerating. You now see I was right. He stole my home. And he made tons of lies about it. The lies were retarded. But I don't want this to be a 5-6 hour long diary entry. Next thing I know, where was I? I was at the Bowery Poetry Club one night. Police show up. They ask, am I there? Of course, the doorman says, of course Christopher's here. You guys look like you're mafia or detectives. Of course I'm going to tell you, go get him. He could have said, no, he was here, he's not. Whatever, they could have helped me. These people do me well. They didn't. They sold me out. The police came. I made a huge fucking scene. Room was packed. I made a huge fucking scene. Ladies and germs, I'm about to be arrested. The police have come here to arrest me. Because of this fucking snake, Harry Stuckey, blah, blah. Some people filmed the police station. They were a bunch of art stars were like, officers, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you arresting for? What are the charges? It's like, aggravated harassment, threatened to kill Harry Stuckey. No, I didn't threaten to kill him. Under the law in America, even if you say, I'm going to kill you, that's not even a threat. Under the law, federal law, it has to be plausible and believable. It has to be a credible threat. It has to seem realistic. If you say, I'm going to kill you if you steal my business, that's not even remotely a threat. First of all, it's not a threat, and it's conditional. You'd have to steal my business first. It's like trespassers will be shot. Is that a death threat? It sounds like a death threat if you're a retard. Trespassers will be shot. He's talking about shooting people. That's a threat. No, because first of all, you'd have to trespass, fucktard, and you wouldn't. People still every day, every human being I've met says you threatened them, and I'm the only person who's right. All the federal case law backs me up. No threats. And the police, they don't know. You can't find a police officer who knows the law. You know how it goes. It's all lies all the time. And so they took me to jail, tortured the fuck out of me. And now the charge of harassment, I could have gotten a disappearance ticket. But no, they broke federal law to torture me and punish me without proving me guilty of any crime. That's what they do every day when you have Nazis in charge, like Bloomberg and Giuliani. Violated all federal laws, got away with violating all federal laws. The more they got convicted, because remember, Giuliani and Bloomberg got convicted over and over by federal judges of violating federal law. Why weren't they cuffed? This is what the federal judge said. You guys are totally guilty. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fine you, and I'm going to allow you to take the fines from your victims. Just steal it from the tax dollars. It's cool with me. Is that cool with you guys? Okay, cool. We're all cool. They did that in every case. Look, you can't find a case. More Giuliani and Bloomberg got caught in contempt. The judge refused to jail them. Because you know the world is completely corrupt and unfair. And so I went to jail. Now a bunch of people said, all right, Harry, you've gone too far. You stole Christopher's home and then you arrested him? You've gone too far. And Harry said, get on your fucking knees and fucking suck my fucking cock. And they all said, all right. And they did it. Nobody joined me in saying, Harry, we're going to expose this to the entire community. You won't be able to rent the rooms. You won't be able to throw parties here because we're going to expose you. Nope, everybody said the same thing. If you think you're going to get away with this, Harry, well, what can we do to help? We don't like you. We never did like you. But we'll do whatever you need us to do to help you steal this project completely and make shitloads of fucking money, destroy the arts, rape more innocent girls, give them your STDs, etc., etc., etc. What do you need us to do? David Danzig helped Harry every step of the way. Tom Richard helped Harry 99% of the way. And Tom got ripped off. And he still, after getting ripped off, helped Harry every step of the way. The more Harry ripped Tom off and lied to Tom, the more Tom got on his knees and said, can I kiss your feet again, please? Because you're a winner and I'm a loser. And I look up to you. And that's what everyone does. And so then he got a restraining order against me. And then, now, when I spoke to the police, I said, did you guys meet that fucking asshole? They're like, yeah, he seemed a little skeevy. I'm like, okay, do you know what he fucking did? Da, da, da. Now, the police always love me when they arrest me, ironically. And these police processed me like dumb fucktards. They're like, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to get more tax dollars in the next lawsuit. Brilliant. Everybody loses except for the snake. The only person who won was the only person who was fucking completely evil. Wacky coincidence. And then months later, he had me arrested again. He faked an email or something, pretending to be me, and had me arrested for violating order of protection. Police, again, not bright. Remember, their job is not to do detective work. Their job is to just be lazy, arrest somebody, and let the courts sort it out 2-3 years later. You'll get your day to clear your name 2-3 years from now. Meanwhile, Harry's stealing $4,000 a month from the business. He wants to slow it down. I file a lawsuit. The Supreme Court, civil Supreme Court, is a fucking nightmare. Even people who work there say this system's a fucking joke. This courthouse is a fucking joke. And good luck to you. The judges are dirty. They've fucking had to arrest tons of judges in that courthouse for fucking taking bribes. Dirty. Now, Harry Stuckey's MO has always been to bribe. He makes bribes to politicians. He does all this sleazy shit so he can get away with everything, and he gets away with everything. Remember, since I told the DA out of all of his crimes, child porn, they said, boring, raping girls, boring, we've got the bounce checks, boring, check fraud is not a crime. That's what the DA told me, all kinds of lies. I spoke to all kinds of different people, got the same lies from everyone. We don't want to do our job. We'll arrest you because you're innocent, but we're not going to go after criminals. If we were going to go after criminals, we would have handcuffed the mayor 8 years ago, wouldn't we have? We would have arrested Bush, wouldn't we? If we were concerned about the law, we would have arrested Dick Cheney. But our job is not to enforce the law. Even more insidious, the first arrest, it says right there in the police report, we notified the mayor's Gestapo, the intelligence division. Creepy. Yeah, two civilians having a conflict in speech. I wasn't charged with throwing a punch. I wasn't charged with shoving him. I was tortured in jail, supposedly, for words. And a poster, they said, which wasn't free speech. A poster I did of him to expose him to the community. They said that's not protected speech. When you expose a con artist, you've crossed the line. I mean, if everything you say is true, that's still, you're not allowed free speech because we're Nazis. Nazis won World War II. They just changed their name. Because that name had been discredited, and that swastika and logo had been discredited. They just changed their name. They're running almost every government on earth today, the Nazis. They just changed their names, people. There's ethnic genocide going on all over the planet. Nobody gives a fuck. You see Israel doing anything? They said never forget. Well, they said we'll never forget Jews. I mean, they're killing blacks in Rwanda. We don't give a fuck. You're enslaving people in South Africa. Well, we've got diamond mines there, so we, Israel, don't give a fuck. You keep enslaving the blacks and take away their democracy rights. Do to them what you did to the Jews, but we're going to look the other way because you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. That's one reason why Israel should be blown off the fucking map. By their own admission, they never helped anyone who was the victim of ethnic genocide except for themselves. Disgusting. Hypocrisy should be... All we have to do is outlaw hypocrisy. Let's not pass any other law ever again except for one. Outlaw hypocrisy. Watch what happens. all evil acts would have to end. I mean, of course, obviously, the police wouldn't enforce or anything like that. Oh, shit. Is this going to be end of part 3 here? Just a moment. 20. I'm trying to do the math here. I know, I'm sorry, these diaries are horrible, but it's all I got, all right? You don't fucking understand, okay? I slept outdoors last night and it got rained on, okay? You do not know what I've been through. No human in his... Anne Frank wasn't hiding outdoors for fucking years, okay? You don't know what the fuck's going on. You jump to conclusions. You keep jumping to conclusions about me, and you're never going to be right. It's pretty frustrating. Please stop it so I don't have to fucking go and make these things longer to explain stupid shit. And understand my bitterness. I was the angriest man who ever lived when I was 10 years old. When I was 10, I wanted the death of all humans. I wanted merciless death on all humans by the age of 10. Because I had never met a good human. By the age of 20, I realized I was wrong. I said everybody was completely evil. I wasn't close. They were a lot more evil than I thought they were. By the age of 30, I said, oh my God, I wasn't even close when I said humans are completely fucking disgusting and evil. I had shortchanged it by exponential amounts. To this day, every day the human race shocks me by being much more evil than I said they are. If you knew the stuff I went through, no human history, legal history, has gone through half the nightmares I have by the police and the DA. And I'm going to hopefully get more diaries up. All my fucking 35 trips to jail, 28-ish fake arrests, times they throw me in jail, rob me without arresting me, all kinds of dirty, dirty, dirty things. And the reporters help them every day. I've seen nothing but endless corruption in every direction. Again, it's like having your country invaded by the Nazis and the Italians and the Japanese, but also the Russians, the British, the French, the Americans, the Canadians, every nation on earth invading your country to enslave you. Well, that's going to be a tough one to win. I'm here in the hospital right now. That's why you hear voices in the background. I'm in the waiting room because I have nowhere to go, and it's hot outside, and I have nowhere to go. I can't even go to the fucking library. They're closed today. I'm lucky that I could sit here right now. I snuck in. I'm plugged into the wall. Pausing to save. So now, obviously, after my first arrest, or maybe even before that, I immediately contacted the DA's office because they're being conned by a con artist like everybody else was. It only takes minutes to prove he conned them, that he misled them, that he lied to them. It only takes minutes to prove this. We've got bank statements. We've got all kinds of things. We have the lease of the space. We have every witness, anyone they interview, every shred of evidence, other than Harry Stuckey's big fat fucking mouth, which changes its story every minute. And you have to remember, he comes off as a skeeve the second you meet him. Just look at his websites and shit. He's skeevy. Everyone thinks he's skeevy. The DA fucked me over. Every step of the way, they fucked me over. They ignored all the evidence. They stealing $4,000 a month? Well, we better drag this out as slowly as we can. Let's put this in perspective. My 2 legal aid attorneys, a year and a half ago, I said, this case isn't going to go to trial anytime in the next 2 years. And they said, yes, it is. Yeah, it's in the trial part right now. It's going to trial. And I said, I'm never wrong, and your lawyers, you're never right. You're legal aid, meaning you're double never right. And they said, you know what you're talking about. We're in the trial part now, meaning we're on the road to trial. We're in the trial section of the courthouse. We've made it through all the other steps and hoops. Now we're ready to go to trial. That's what they said a year and a half ago. It's now been 2 years and like 4 months. I was right, and the experts were wrong. Which is weird because that's what happened in every other situation in my life. I've proven the experts wrong. You name a field, medicine. Pick a field, archaeology. Pick any field. Let's debate it. Get 20 friends to back you up, and let's debate it. Stop doubt. Either put up or shut up. If you're going to doubt me, then fucking have the fucking guts to confront me, and we'll debate publicly, and you'll look like a jackass. Anytime people doubt me, they're never right, ever. And that's one of my specialties since I was a little boy, is proving the experts wrong in their own field, even if I know nothing about their own field. Because I have something greater than knowledge: wisdom. Knowledge is worthless. Encyclopedias are filled with knowledge. They don't have any intelligence, right? Filing cabinet can be filled with information, maybe even more information than the human brain can store. But it has zero intelligence and zero wisdom. Wisdom is worth everything. Knowledge is cheap. Anyone can get knowledge. Computers hold lots of knowledge. They don't have much wisdom. That's why I outsmart everybody all the time. The problem is, I'm an honest... Fucking thing glitched. Apple computers to the rescue. Checking 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, I just got a whiff of something really horrible in here. Smells like somebody just took off a bandage that's been bandaged for years. Smells like a mummy's crotch. So where was I? Yeah, you people don't realize that. Wisdom is all that matters. Wisdom trumps knowledge every single time. And I've proven that in every category. Like here, these guys have more knowledge than me, and I have more wisdom. They should have known how long it would take. We've been in a trial part for 1.5 years. They said, no, we're going to trial like this month. I said, no, we aren't, because I'm never wrong. 1 year and 3 or 4 months later, actually 5 months later, 4 months later, and I was right, and the experts who are in that courtroom every day were wrong? How is that possible? But you can go back and look at all my trials and all my cases. I was right every time, prove my lawyers wrong every single time. In fact, the only charges I get dropped is when I handle it all myself and ditch my fucking lawyers, which I did in the Delfino, the first case, and the second Delfino case. And then they barred me from doing it in the third case, right? Didn't work in the third case because I was barred from doing it by the judge illegally. Dawson, Tandra Dawson. She should be hanging from the rafters. Fucking super Nazi. But she can't be touched. Even with my lawsuits, I can't get justice against the judges. They're the dirtiest crooks. Because remember, they're all ex-prosecutors. If prosecutors are super corrupt, the most corrupt people on earth, what's a judge? A judge who's an ex-prosecutor is going to be taking up just a tiny notch, if that's possible. And judges are sleazebags. And you'll learn that when you're 80 years old and it's too late to be useful. So, $4,000 a month. The DA dragged their feet, Even recently, they said, we'd like to investigate Mr. Brodor's claims. 2.5 years later, you'd like to investigate my claims? They did this in other trials of mine, too. Be like, oh, Mr. Brodor wants us to... No, you're stalling. I have a right to a speedy trial. It's so important that they put it right there in the Bill of Rights. They didn't put millions of our rights into the Bill of Rights, but they did put the speedy trial one in there. Because what government used to do in the past is exactly what the government's doing today. You charge somebody with a crime, you don't ever have to prove them guilty. You can just keep them coming back to court, taking time off from work, losing money, collecting interest on their bail money. Just endless scams I could list for you that no one will talk about. There's not a reporter in America who will tell you about any of these things. Because reporters are also the root of all evil. And sometimes I get a little confused whether prosecutors are dirtier than journalists. Technically, I think journalists still are dirtier because you can't have a bad prosecutor. It might be a stalemate. You can't have a bad prosecutor anywhere in the world without a bad journalist because that prosecutor would be exposed the next day in the paper and destroyed and would lose their job and go to prison. But you can't have a bad journalist without bad prosecutors, can you? Because any prosecutor tomorrow can arrest any journalist tomorrow and clean up journalism. So it might be a stalemate. But keep in mind that journalists have 10 times more power than than prosecutors do. Prosecutors have massive power, but it's much more limited than a journalist. So I think we still have to say journalists are still thoroughly more evil than prosecutors are. And I don't know how detailed I'm going to get into that, but let us call this the end of part 3. I'm going to get to some more dirty details of the DA stuff, but yeah, I'm sorry. I might be digressing too much. But part of it also is like when I go into the details, it makes me just want to stab myself right now. You don't know what it's like. One, no human on earth knows what it's like to be raped every day with a rusty pipe. Because remember, I shouldn't have to say this, but I do because people don't think. When I use rape as a word meaning like you're fucking violated beyond belief, that's not right. it's misleading because even most rape victims admit to some sexual pleasure, and they get guilt. That's why a lot of the kids molested by the Catholic priest didn't come forward, because they did enjoy having their penis touched. It's just by the wrong person. But they felt guilty that they got a boner, or they felt guilty that they had an ejaculation when the priest sucked them off. A lot of rape victims have guilt because they derived some sexual pleasure, right? Millions of female rape victims have said they got wet, and then they felt like they were horrible people because they hated the guy and they hated being raped, but they got wet. So it was like they feel ashamed and dirty. It's not their fault. There is sexual pleasure in sexual rape of the victims. When I say rape, so it's misleading. What happens to me, I have to say raped by a rusty pipe. You need to know that there's no positives of any kind potentially possible to being raped with a rusty pipe. And so no human in history has suffered 5% of the horrors that I have. That's easy to prove. And you couldn't even, like I said, I challenge the audiences anytime, any place. I challenge you anytime, any place to create with your greatest imaginations a life worse than mine, and I'll prove you're wrong. Anytime, any place. Because remember, even if I do 50,000 diaries, I'm not going to get to 1% of the horrors I've experienced. Every day of my life. Remember, the best day of my life was worse than the worst day of any other person in history's life. Because even the best days of my life, I've still fucked over by almost everyone. Even the best days of my life, I've got the largest rusty pipe going up my ass and ripping my innards. Even when my best times of my life were endless heartbreak, endless physical impossibilities. Because remember, my shit isn't just attitude. When you're sleeping in the rain, that's not fucking attitude, okay? When you're fucking being starved by the NYPD illegally and the reporters are covering it up, that's not attitude. I have the worst attitude of anybody in human history. And I should. And you would too. Watch, let's take Tom Hanks. Everyone says he's a nice guy. I'm going to fucking smash him in the face with a 2x4 every fucking day. I'm going to wait till he heals. I'm going to smash him again every day. I'm going to do it for 30 years. I wonder if he's going to be as friendly as they say he is. You know the answer to that. They're not going to be friendly. He's going to be fucking rabid. He's going to rip your fucking jugular out with his teeth. And he should. And I should. And that's another reason why I'm cursed. Millions of people have gone through horrible suffering, and many of them have stabbed the people who fucking violated them, or fought back and killed the people who violated them. Or there's lots of different things you can do for revenge. My hands are tied by all of my friends. And my hands are tied by my own excellence. I could torture Harry Stuckey tomorrow. I wouldn't kill him. That'd be humane. If I could do anything, I'd slice his face apart, so he's horribly disfigured for the rest of his life, like an ogre. So everywhere he goes, people would see a monster, and they'd see the scars, and that would be their tip. This wasn't an accident. And he wouldn't be able to see, and his life would be horrible. He wouldn't be free from pain. He'd suffer all the time for the rest of his life. And I could do that tomorrow. But the problem is, since being the greatest artist of all time, and the innovator and pioneer and the most important political thinker in history, I still have some obligations. Even though I realize, I'm wise enough to recognize that most of my work is going to end up in a dumpster, because I don't need enemies. I have friends. Oh shit, I'm not tying this up? End of part 3.